All right, welcome back. The last is yet to be heard about the kidnapped passengers of the ill-fated Kaduna Abuja train. The latest is that 7 more kidnapped passengers of the March 28th train attack have been released by the terrorists. The abductors were paid 800 million naira ransom by the families of the victims for their release, while 20 victims have been released on different occasions. The bandits are demanding 100 million naira each for the release of the remaining 43 victims, including 2 foreigners still in captivity. Gentlemen, kidnapping has now become quite intractable. 100 million naira each for the kidnapped passengers. The hope we had in government, where is it? Because when Nigerians now have to pay for their own ransom.
Well, government is incapable of freeing people from their abductors. Government has said it will no longer pay ransom on behalf of people kidnapped. So, it's to your tent, O Israel. If anything happens to you, you are driving on the highway, you get kidnapped, you are simply on your own. That is what we are seeing. I would have loved to see a situation in which people get kidnapped and occasionally we see security operatives descend on the scene and at least rescue some of those people. You know, or what we keep hearing is that, oh, there will be collateral damage if an attempt is made, and then because of that, no attempt is ever made to try to even secure the release of these people. We saw the Americans come all the way from their country to rescue one of their own who was abducted by bandits in the northwest of our country. They successfully got those guys killed, and they spirited their citizen away. How many times have we seen such a thing happen here? In fact, sometimes people will pay ransom only for our security agents to come and lie that they secured, that they freed those people. It's such a terrible situation that we find ourselves. I said the week these guys abducted these train passengers, that these guys are not terrorists, they are bandits, they are out to make money, they don't have political demands. I said it at that time. Their conduct is consistent with the conduct of bandits. And I said at that time that, look, they are going to ask for ransom because they didn't announce to anyone that, oh, they are going to be asking for ransom. Many Nigerians thought, oh, these were just terrorists. But when they released that banker, the chairman of that government bank, people should have known that he found a way to secure his freedom. He found a way to pay ransom. They lied to us. The terrorists said they released him on health ground because he was old. But there is a 90-year-old woman still in their hands. So if his release was based on compassionate grounds on account of age, that person is way younger than the 90-year-old woman that they are still holding. It's all about money. And at that time, my source told me that they were asking for foreign currency. Now, we have information that the bulk of this ransom that was paid was actually paid in foreign currencies. This is where we find ourselves in our country. We can't stop them. Government is right to say, oh, we are not going to pay ransom. But you should be able to secure the release of people, because the alternative is people who have to go and find a way to pay ransom because they can't watch their loved ones suffer. They are not going to wait for these people to kill their loved ones. Now, some funny people in the National Assembly are trying to criminalize ransom payment. What is the alternative to ransom payment? The alternative has to be that militarily you are going to secure the release of our people. or ensure that our people are safe when driving on the highways, when inside the government train and the rest. If you can't do that, people get kidnapped, they have the right to find a way to secure their freedom. Their loved ones have every right in the world to do their best to secure the rights, to secure the lives of people in the custody of the bandits. And how else can they do that? It's by negotiating with them. They have to pay money. To pay money. When government neglected the students of that Greenfield University in Kaduna, what did we see? Some parents sold their houses and paid as much as 100 million. The same thing happened with the students of that school owned by the Baptists in Kaduna. They paid more than 100 million cumulatively to have those children released. So what is the thing? It's like everybody has been left to find a way to protect themselves. We provide our own water, we provide our own electricity. Now we have to protect ourselves. If you can't hire OPC or some other, I hope Ozare will provide OPC for us so that we can protect ourselves, then you're your own. That's what we are seeing.
All right, GKB, with several documentations in Nigeria, and PKO just stated these recent ransom payments was majorly in foreign currencies. How has it been so hard for these people to be traced?
Well, what are you going to trace them for? There are no consequences for those who are mandated to protect us. Nothing has been done to anybody, as far as I know. Nobody has resigned out of the fact that I failed as a man in government. So the president has not sacked anybody in the conventional sense that we see in other countries. So what's the motive for doing your work when the system rewards you abundantly for simply failing? We must remember that kidnapping is an emotive crime. It has no rhyme or reason. Yorubas will say, "Eni to kan lo mo." You cannot pontificate when it comes to the way the loved one of these people feel when there are people in captivity. It's not something one can simply pontificate about on radio or television. It is real life drama for those who are concerned. So when I hear people say we criminalize this, it's like somebody saying that it is wrong to protect yourself. The first law of nature is self-preservation. That's the first law. All animals do it. All trees do it. The first thing you do is how to preserve myself and my generations to come. The government has failed using any parameter when it comes to security. And it's unfortunate because we assume that by this time in our democracy, we will have a system that will work in such a way that, because yesterday I saw a picture of a JTF with rank, and it was wearing the badge, Joint Task Force, and in one of the northern states. And I was very happy. It means that the reality is dawning on our people, that you cannot keep waiting for somebody who cannot protect himself to protect you. Soldiers were kidnapped. People are dead every day. 2 weeks ago, 17 mobile policemen were escorting pilgrims from Eastern local government in Sokoto to Sokoto for the Hajj. They were slaughtered. A day earlier, 37 officers of the Nigerian army were slaughtered. It was still business as usual. If those who are being paid to protect you are not themselves able to protect themselves, as it were, what are you going to do? I keep telling that when the people said people don't go for state police. I said, if you don't do anything soon, what we'll have is worse. What we'll have will be worse than state police. Because individuals will now carry guns. Because when I was growing up in Lagos, after the war, anybody they shout thief in Lagos, they will burn him. That's what we is. And that's why we are going now, because people are sitting on the edge. Nobody is safe. Nobody seems to worry about our safety. And I don't know how to say this in English, but the Bible say, "Okeni mogun na ishelopo." Those who say lie at the Ogun shrine, most of them are innocent. I don't want us to go that far. That's why government must do something to protect us here and now.
All right, BKO, let's look at how lucrative this business has been to bandits. Could this have maybe been the reason why the government has been quite lukewarm in tackling this issue?
Oh, certainly not. It's just a lack of political will and lack of the right strategies. It's just like looking at what had been happening in the Northeast, we kept pushing that we should go on the offensive, that the Nigerian army was too defensive, that the Nigerian army should go on the offensive. Don't wait until you are attacked. The idea of coming up with super camps so that you have enough weapons to defend yourself, some of us opposed it. We said, don't wait until you are attacked. Take the battle to the enemy. Attack as the best form of defense. If you are playing a team that is coming at you with waves and waves of attack, you are going to be defending throughout. But if you are trying to attack you and you are attacking as well, they too will be careful that, oh, these people could actually score against us. So both teams would have to take defending seriously. But if a team just decides to
Defend.
Stay back and simply defend, you are inviting more pressure to yourselves. And before you know it, that dam will break. When the dam breaks, more goals will happen. So we are doing well in the Northeast. One of the reasons for that is that we now go after the enemy. We go to their enclaves, destroy their camps, set their camps ablaze. They are on the run. A good number of them are now here. I mean, they are now in the Northwest and North Central. Some people were denying before when we said that Boko Haram had moved to Niger State. Boko Haram was in the Northwest. Some were abusing us. They sat on social media, which is their natural habitat, where they enjoy abusing people. They are not good enough to lace their boots. We left them alone. Today, no one would deny. In fact, government is the quickest to say, oh, that attack was by ISWAP. But for some time, we were defending, we were denying that these guys had moved to some other parts of the country.
They're very active.
When we should have moved fast to block them, to stop the advance towards that part of the country, we were in denial. Boko Haram organized, Shekau organized the kidnap of the JSS Kankara students. Some people denied it, but the first video of those boys in captivity was released by Shekau himself. For how long are we going to be denied the truth? The governor of Niger State has told us repeatedly that in some parts of his state, Boko Haram are even holding on to territories.
In Niger State.
The secretary of the government of the state has also said the thing that they are occupying, they said the same thing, that they are occupying some parts of Niger. Now, in some communities that our people had vacated in the Northwest, they are holding those communities as if it belongs to them. In fact, to Boko Haram, people should not come near Brinengwari. So those going to Kwara, for example, or even coming to Lagos, you know what they put themselves through. They pass through from Abuja. They will come through Kogi, then Ekiti, before coming
because of what too is no longer.
Because if you, and it's not far. If you have to go through Kaduna, Tegina, Kaduna, Brinengwari, Tegina, in no time you are in Mokwa, and you are close to Kwara. But people rather go to pass through Lokoja, then come to Kogi, then Lokoja, come to Okunland, then get to Ekiti. Before, so it's terrible. Just to avoid being killed. It's the same situation that people found themselves. Those going to Goza, those going to Biu, because the Damboa-Biu road is one of the most dangerous in our country. They go through, they first go to Yobe State.
And then turn left, right again.
And you then do twice or 3 times the time that you normally spend if you had followed the usual route. But those boys are on the usual route and they waste you. Nobody wants to die. So this is the situation that we found ourselves. It's lucrative. Government has not been able to identify the people behind this. block even the access to money.
Logistics.
Those guys, every day, they are learning and they are improving their ways of getting money from people. If they are keeping someone here, they will first make sure that you go to 3 or 4 places before they eventually release that person to you. They'll go in a mazy manner so that they can be located. We were speaking to a chief of army staff, and he said, these guys are extremely mobile. Because they are extremely mobile, even if you plan an attack on them, the next day they are no longer there. And of course, they have information within the armed forces.
All right, just a bit, before we move on this discussion, I have Robert from Itoki, Ogun State. Hello, Robert.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you. May God bless you.
All right.
Yes, I'm a retired army officer. Now, at the end of the day, when Ojukwu declare war in this country, we now go to Calabar, go to every state and look for them, where the Biafrans, go to everywhere and look for them. Then why should the military government, where Buhari is a retired general, why they not find? Look at Kaduna here. They take, look at what my brother talked. When he talks, say they take old woman, 90 years old woman. Look what happened in Uganda. A 90-year-old woman was there in Uganda. Then when America sent their soldiers come and reduce them. What are we paying 800 million? They're asking us $1 million. We give them $1 million, they go buy weapons.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. Now, GKB, because let's go back to the discussion I was having with BKO. Because Nigerians are obviously observing the body language of the federal government, which indirectly tells them that it's just about money. It's just about ransom payments. When in fact, people are going into debt all because they want to get back their loved ones.
Well, it's always about money. Like you said when you first asked the question, it's basically about the rewards. And if the reward comes in for minimum effort, why not? That's what banditry is really about. As we say in my language, a thief does not lose anything. You can sell a 2 million naira car for 10,000. He had no investments in the vehicle in the first place. So they have the advantage when it comes to that. What I don't understand is the fact that I spoke to some people in the security apparatus, and they told me Nigeria is properly mapped. That's what they told me. That we have a proper map of, and it's true. I've been in Abuja and I traced my own house and to the roof of my house. And I keep wondering, how come people can hold people or move, no matter how mobile they are, that they will not leave traces? There's a whole army created by the Americans when they took over and they were chasing the Indians during the American War. They call them scouts. These people are the ones who can sit on the floor and tell you the last time somebody stepped on it. That this piece of whatever was left by somebody 2 hours ago. Why can't we do that? I know you cannot get all of them, but if we keep minimizing the space they occupy, then we will stop this in its tracks. Because it really doesn't get me worried for 2 reasons. One, if it is not money, how did they get money back into the system? Because it is money, like Gide said, they are not being paid in dollars. That means even the money is now mobile. Not only the people. The money they get is now mobile. Because $10,000 can disappear to your body and nobody will sit. But 10 million naira, you have to need Ghana must go about 4 or 5. So not only are they getting smarter, I will not be surprised if they have paga people somewhere who serve as the conduits for money to get back to the system. I agree it's not peculiar to Nigeria when it comes to money laundering or criminal purposes. But Nigeria has now become organized in such a way that we have nowhere else to go. My fear is this, and I said it before. If our people, because we are going the way of Somalia, and they get to a point that somebody will be controlling the Abuja-Lokoja road, you have to pay toll to pass. Somebody will be paying for the Lokoja-Yagba road, and then you have to pay. From Okmuland, you have to pay before you get to Ekiti. And then everybody think it's normal. That's where we are going. Because there are already roads in Niger State that we know, roads in Yobe State, that people don't go because they know you pay toll. And like I told you, we are losing our enforcement officers at a pace that we cannot replace them. I know for the fact that the mobile police is the most hit when it comes to this in Nigeria. They lose an average of 2-3 people per day. Can you manufacture 2-3 people or give birth to 2-3 people to replace them? That means if people are telling you we have 500,000 people in uniform, with the level of people that have been killed in the Northwest, Northeast, and North Central, maybe we've lost about 200,000 in the last 3 years.
All right.
That to me is the danger that we face.
All right, gentlemen, let's quickly go back to criminalization of ransom payments. Mikhail, how scary does this look, and does it look like this might see the light of the day? And what are the implications of this bill?
I see no sense in coming up with a law that people will not obey. With a gun to my neck, to tell me not to pay ransom, and I know that that's the way to get my loved one out of captivity, I will pay that ransom. I will pay that ransom. I would rather go to jail than watch my loved one die. I mean, look, people will do anything to ensure that they keep their loved ones alive. If it was possible to clone your loved ones, you will happily clone your loved ones. If you had a child with a first-class brain, the best in her class, and she had leukemia, you knew that death will certainly come someday. Won't you clone her? Well, we've not got to that stage. The point I'm making is there is no sense in coming up with a law that you cannot even enforce. I don't even see how you can enforce it. Soldiers get kidnapped, they pay ransom. Policemen get kidnapped, they pay ransom. They may not tell you that they paid ransom, but we know that somehow they find a way to go and pay, because the alternative is death to that person in captivity. So we have not reached that point. If our security is so watertight that, look, once somebody is kidnapped, in no time,
24 hours.
that person gets released. You are certain that that person will be released in the fullness of time.
Or efforts would even be made.
Why would you go and waste your money to give these guys? It's because they know that the system is weak. They are triumphing over a weak system, and they are happy to show us. This is the bandit, in your face banditry. That is what we are seeing. That, look, there's nothing you guys can do. Do you know they tell people that if you like, call the police, you will see. You will see. Because
cases of that.
Sometimes, even when you do that, they get the information. So this is the thing. If the security can improve, we didn't have this kind of thing before. I mean, we grew up in a happy Nigeria, a Nigeria that everyone will be proud of. We grew up in a Nigeria where you enjoy traveling by road, taking in the fauna on both sides. Nigeria is a beautiful country. You see lush green vegetation everywhere. In our country, even on the hills, you see trees grow on mountains in our country. How many countries of the world do you see trees grow on mountains, when even some of those mountains are covered by ice? You know? So this is the thing. We've taken security so lightly now that, whether we like it or not, it is the biggest issue in our country. For the election that is coming, as I said 2 years ago, security will be the biggest issue. It is who Nigerians think will protect them best that they are going to vote for. People can talk about religion and other things. Religion is the least of our problem, because religion does not bring down the price of bread.
Absolutely.
It is who will best protect us that Nigerians will vote for, because it's about their survival.
All right, GKB, let me have your final thoughts on this before we move on to
I wish that we could go back to a period where our security infrastructure strikes fear into the heart of bandits. There's a time in Nigeria that if you kill a policeman in the morning, chances are 99% he will catch you before the nightfall. We don't even want to talk about killing soldiers. That's off. Because killing soldiers means they will decimate your entire community. Now we lose 35 officers at the go, and not it.
And no repercussion.
And then we know policemen are being killed every day. You know how endangered their lives are? Because I'm talking about mobile policemen because it touches me. These are people who are created solely to be mobile. So that means they can move at any given time. And because that very stress, it is what is killing them now. Because once they're on the road, they are targets for bandits, they are targets for terrorists. And then do you think somebody like me will allow my children to not join? What is supposed to be a noble profession? We have to do something about security architecture. If they don't want state police, let's have regional police. JTF can transmute into whatever they want it to be, as far as we are secured. Security is number one. All these are just humanities that we worry about.
All right, gentlemen, let's go on a quick break and we will be right back with more discussions.